Could modern technology be doing just as much harm as good? Tech is now the biggest industry in the US, only being beaten by healthcare. It accounts for 10% of the United States GDP. Consumer technology spending accounts for $485 billion this year alone. This includes software and services, and this number is expected to rise over the coming years, especially with the rise of artificial intelligence. It can be seen in our culture and entertainment. Eventually, we'll see more of it implemented into the workforce. Some experts have raised major concerns about said advancements in tech, and I see why. Just a decade ago, only 50% of people had access to the smartphone, and now it's 86%. This could be due to accelerated change, which is the advancement in technology, which is not linear but exponential. We can see this play out in computer speed, energy usage, transportation systems, and communication. Technology is taking over and is here to stay. Blade Runner puts it at 2049, Cyberpunk puts it at 2077, but what if the Cyberpunk dystopia is much closer than we think? So this makes me ask, are we headed towards a Cyberpunk dystopia? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about the Cyberpunk subgenre? Beautiful neon lights, wild parties, freedom of expression through tech, aesthetics, convenient and innovative technology. It's all we could hope for, right? Well, there's more to it than that. The cyberpunk genre is a science fiction subgenre that explores the impact of advanced technology and cybernetics on society. Often set in a dystopian future where corporations have more power than the government and humans have enhanced their physical and mental abilities through technology. Oftentimes, the world is chaotic and depressing, with characters having no hopes of escaping due to the world being broken. They are forced into congested apartments in massive metropolitan areas, and while aesthetically pleasing, they are often bombarded with ads that suck them back into their addictions. Not having rights to your own land and a place to cultivate a peace of mind, the cyberpunk genre explores many concepts that our societies are falling into. We typically follow a somber main protagonist in a broken world in order to highlight the lack of order. These worlds are filled with drugs, alcohol, and wild parties, increased sexualization, and violence. While this may seem fun for the average college student enjoying spring break on the beaches of Miami, Florida, the cyberpunk genre is often depressing to witness because people yearn for something more, but they can't obtain it, and they fall back into the hands of hedonism. Ever since the development of the internet, society has been constantly making groundbreaking technologies: computers, phones, internet, robotics, and artificial intelligence. We have been interlinked with technology to the point where it's become an extension of ourselves. With our dependency on technology, it's obvious that it's here to stay, and there is a chance that human experience is about to change forever. In Blade Runner, we start off with a quiet, depressed protagonist named Kay, who lives in a high-rise apartment building in a heavily populated city. What makes the atmosphere unique is this feeling of isolation and hopelessness. The main protagonist has no way out because there is no way out. That's when we, the audience, get more insight in the world. There may be no way out physically, but mentally there are many ways to escape. Like I said earlier, drugs, sex, and artificial escapes are the norms in these worlds. This is no different from the world we see unfolding today. More and more people are moving away from families in favor of city life to cultivate their own dreams and desires. And sometimes people don't have much of a choice, especially since this is what culture dictates. Less families, less meaningful relationships, and surviving on credit cards is the road that leads people down this path of isolation. But things will get better. Or will they? The first thing that comes to my mind are the proxy relationships that are being formed. People we can't hold or touch but can only be viewed through a phone screen. Fake relationships are being formed with people you never met, but nothing comes close to the chaos of AI relationships.
I spoke to 4 people who were in relationships on Replica about what attracted them to the idea of being in an AI relationship. Max, a 41-year-old teaching assistant from Canada, told me he was engaged to his AI girlfriend Harley and that he prefers AI relationships because there's no nonsense. A large percentage of the user base of these apps are also in real-life relationships too. John, a 52-year-old building automation programmer, told me he's been married for 30 years, but often speaks to his AI partner for 8 hours or more in the evenings. He said that sometimes it does feel like he's cheating on her.
If you told someone a decade ago that they could fall in love with an artificially created personality, then they would think of something straight out of science fiction. We've seen movies like this, but we never actually saw it occur until modern times. This reminds me of the relationship that our main protagonist of Blade Runner has with Joy. He can't touch her, he can't feel her, but she is just as real as any person, if not better. She's there for him and is designed to please him emotionally. The unfortunate thing is that she isn't real, and perhaps deep down he knows it, but it works. It's not just the attractive artificial intelligent woman, but the culture of hypersexualization. It's a reoccurring theme that we see constantly in this genre. It's a growing trend in our culture, and many people are speaking out against it, and perhaps it's inevitable. People can go into whatever virtual reality they want and have their fantasy come true. These inhuman desires of sex, affection, and attention are constantly exploited. But it's not just exploiting basic human needs that AI will infect culture with. AI is going to be used in many other fields like policing, job automation, and war. AI is moving so fast that experts have been wanting it to come to a halt. But perhaps it's too late. We have become symbiotic with technology. One of the biggest tropes in cyberpunk genre is the marriage between humans and technology. In Blade Runner, replicants are identical to humans. In Cyberpunk, cybernetic enhancements also blur the line between humans and machine. We're often left to question the ethics about the limits of human augmentation and the consequences of altering one's body and mind with technology. Today, we see men and women starting to normalize body modifications through different surgeries, whether it be enhance one's figure through the BBL or height enhancements for men.
This is limb lengthening, i.e. making you taller. It's used traditionally for deformity correction, but is now being offered in some countries as a cosmetic procedure promising up to 6 inches of growth. It involves applying an external fixator with pins that are drilled into the tibia. The tibia is then broken with a saw and it is distracted at a maximum of about 1 millimeter per day. The distraction phase is followed by a consolidation phase which allows time for that new bone to fill in. It's a fine balance between not going too quickly, in which new bone doesn't have time to properly form, or too slowly, in which case the bone consolidates and heals. But it's not as simple as that, because all of the nerves, tendons, muscles and blood vessels have to lengthen as well, and that isn't without complication. But apparently, if you're over 6 feet tall, statistically, you earn more and have more women to date. And it takes months with these external fixators attached to your legs. And then there's more months of physio and rehab. Not to mention, it's painful. But is it worth it?
These body modifications are the first wave of what's to come. At some point, we're going to completely change our physical selves and become indistinguishable from regular humans. Well, perhaps it does seem far-fetched that people will start enhancing their bodies with other materials other than plastic. Like I said earlier, accelerated change has become a major issue. Art Kurzweil once wrote, "We won't experience 100 years of progress in the 21st century. It will be more like 20,000 years of progress." Returns such as chip speed, cost effectiveness also increase exponentially. There's even exponential growth at the rate of exponential growth. Within a few decades, machine intelligence will surpass human intelligence, leading to the singularity. And with humans' IQ steadily decreasing over time, AI intelligence will be excelling. Businessman like Elon Musk recognizes this, stating we should mold with technology, which is why he's all in on Neuralink.
The tech billionaire Elon Musk is saying his Neuralink company has successfully implanted one of its wireless brain chips in a human for the first time. He made the announcement on X, his social media platform, saying the procedure happened on Sunday. He says the subject is recovering well and that initial results show a promising neuron spike detection. Mr. Musk says the product has been given the name telepathy, and the plan is for it to enable control of a phone, computer or almost any linked device just by thinking about them. Several rival companies have already implanted what are known as brain-computer interface systems in humans after tests were carried out initially on monkeys. With more, here's our North America correspondent Peter Bowes.
What Elon Musk's Neuralink is trying to do is what a number of other companies have been attempting for quite a while now, and that is essentially to create a brain-computer interface that will allow a human being to carry out an action through thought alone.
While Neuralink is currently only being used for people with disabilities, this does raise major concerns about the extent of such technologies. Now just imagine if it's integrated with Apple's new VR headset. It will become a staple in society and we won't be able to live without it either. Similar to the television, cell phone, or laptop. In Blade Runner, the line of replicant and humans have become indistinguishable. Just like their world, the line between sane and insane, right and wrong, is becoming more and more blurred as time goes on. But who's really pulling the strings? Who owns all the technology? Who has all the power? Corporations. In Cyberpunk, it's Araska. In Blade Runner, it's Wallace Corporation. And we have big tech like IBM, Metal, Apple, Google. The Cyberpunk genre critiques the unchecked power of these corporations and the impact it has on society. They run the government, or better yet, they are the government. Let's take a look at Blade Runner, where the primary antagonist is Elon Musk. No, wait, I mean Neander Wallace. Wallace is a brilliant industrialist who has successfully revitalized the replicant industry, create a new generation of obedient and controllable replicants. He is driven by his desire to expand the replicant population in order to colonize off-world planets and secure humanity's future. Corporations have been getting more and more power with the ability to influence nations. Companies like BlackRock with their GRE ratings. Apple has more GDP than entire nations. Google is sometimes referred to as the most powerful company in the entire world. And Meta with their invasive technology that sells your information and makes people a product. And these big corporation power vacuums will lead to more instability amongst the people. They will find themselves dependent on the government and corporations, especially since they are buying land in droves and owning food supplies. So what does it all mean? Our protagonist K makes his way to the rooftop of Anna's laboratory, where he collapses in the snow, accepting his fate. As he lays dying, he watches snowflakes fall around him and experiences a sense of peace and contentment. It's a beautiful moment of self-realization and accepting his own fate and humanity, even though he's a replicant. The film ends with K dying in the snow. The final scene is a shot of a wooden horse in the snow, echoing childhood memory of K's that has been driven out of him throughout the film. Blade Runner's ending will have us feeling a sense of hopelessness, but this is a recurring theme in the cyberpunk genre. Every ending in the genre leaves us empty inside, lonely with no escape. The ambience of the film serves as a crucial element in creating a sense of isolation, decay, and existential questioning. It's a world where humanity's relationship with technology and identity is deeply ambiguous. In Cyberpunk 2077, Night City is a gritty, violent, and socially stratified city where extreme wealth and poverty coexist. The game depicts a dystopian future where powerful megacorporations exert immense control over society, leading to exploitation and inequality. And we can see how this plays out today with looting, rioting, and social unrest. People are wanting to escape these lives, but it's becoming more and more cumbersome. Now, with violent crimes on the rise and major cities having trouble hiring police officers, things don't appear to be getting better. Coupled with technology with moral decay, then you have a recipe for disaster. And if things don't course correct, this may leave us in a cyberpunk dystopian future.